Welcome to Vinny's Day Off. If you haven't come across me before, I'm Vinny, and this channel is about the things I like to do in my spare time, my time off. I do quite a lot of knife reviews and knife testing, and that's what we're here to do today. We're going to test this. Let me show you close up. Okay, this is a TCME Mini Parang. TCME, of course, stands for Turbo Conquering Mega Eagle. He's my YouTube friend, and he's a rather excellent channel where he gets up to many strange and wonderful things. He gets up to such things as hardening and tempering a really cheap axe, for instance, building a crossbow, building an anti-tank crossbow, forging knives and parangs, die casting aluminium, leatherwork, and the list goes on and on. I'm going to include some of his footage here.
I have a bit of development to do still, you know, but I'm pretty confident when I'm done I will be able to go through an engine block. Okay, we're all done, and I'm really happy with the knife. Yeah. Now Rambo's come to say hello. I'm going to put the glass in from the back, and the fire rope's going to go against the steel. We've got the top one here operates the oven door. Yeah, very nicely. Get in there tight when you shut it. It's incredibly hot still.
Okay, he's getting into manufacturing, and one of his products is this mini parang. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the sheath first. It's vegetable tanned leather, and it's been dipped in wax to waterproof and rot proof it. Parang fits very nicely, and you have your snap clasp here, snap clip. It has a nice dangler loop. About the only type of belt loop I carry in my hip these days are these danglers. They give you much more freedom. They move with you. They're not as rigid and as uncomfortable as a fixed type of sheath. Okay, the parang itself, it's made from 01 tool steel, 13.5 inches overall, a 9-inch blade, 3.46 millimeters thick. It weighs 3/4 pound. The handle is mahogany. It's pinned here, and you have a lanyard hole if you like that. It has a nice secure butt stop here as well. We're going to put this to use today by building a survival type shelter. Okay. I'm going to make my shelter here. I'm going to suspend it from these saplings, but I need to clear my ground. A little tip for you: the South American chappies, when they're clearing thorny material or stinging material, they use a stick like this, as well as their parang or machete. Let's get this cleared. Not so bad. Damn midges. Right, we need a ridge pole for our shelter, and I found a reasonably long straight pole here. I'll just pull it out and we'll chop it. You need to be careful, there may be dead branches that may fall on you. I'm not really an expert with machetes or with parangs, but I know enough about them that you need to be careful. You need to be very aware of where your blade is going to go when it passes through, and keep your body out of the way. And keep your body out of the way of the blade. Dyson, I know. Dyson is in the way here, I don't want to chop him. No great trouble. We'll measure how long our pole needs to be, and we'll cut off the excess right here. No problemo. And we'll be able to use some of this as well, so as not to have waste. Let's see how it cuts. Cuts pretty well. I forgot to mention a turbo when he sharpened this. He left this portion quite sharp, kind of a Scandi grind. Also the tip is a thinner profile for skinning and for delicate work. The middle or belly is left less thin for chopping. Okay. So this portion back here is quite sharp. It's quite a good slicer. This is another reasonably sturdy sapling. I'd like to have this one as well. Make it a few little poles out of it. No, it's very important to see crap like this. Get that out of the way. Anything like that can deflect your blade. The sheath I find handy. Being right-handed, the easiest way I find to use it is on my right side, obviously. And it's pretty convenient for kind of one-handed use and getting it in and out. Bugs, get out of the way, bugs. A little bit of chopping in this one. Just cut the rest of it. It cuts fairly well, slices pretty well on the thin side of it. Alright, for my rope I'm going to use brambles, briars. Now I've used these before, but I didn't explain fully what I was at or which briars I was using. These brambles are growing in the forest. All of their energy goes into finding light, and they grow kind of long and thin, and they're more pliable and flexible than what you find in the hedgerows or outside in the field. I'm looking for the longer, thinner guys, and they make reasonably good binding. They're fairly flexible. It's not quite like twine, but it's reasonably flexible. You'll see guys on YouTube, and they'll sit down and make maybe natural twine. But if you ever notice, they rarely make more than a foot of it, because I'll need maybe 100 feet, maybe 150, 200 feet of lashing. And to make that would be a day's work. So it's handy just to pick these and use them as they are. They're not terribly strong, but when you take enough of wraps, they're perfectly strong enough. So that's what we're at. To speed things along, I've tied my frame together. I have one last knot to make with the brambles, and I just want to show you how I managed that. So we'll zoom in here for you. Okay. Right, so you can't tie this the way you would normal twine. It's not flexible enough. So what I do is, this is the fatter end, the thick end, close to the ground. I just snag it. You use the briar to snag, you snag the end like this and grip it. So every wrap you take traps it further. Right, so we can change direction here. and that'll do. Now I used to finish this with a clove hitch, but I've been experimenting and I found that a simple single half hitch will hold it perfectly well. It doesn't go anywhere. So we'll come around. I'm keeping tension here. I'm holding tension now with my thumb. So I feed this through. And I just feed it around. Again, it's not like twine. You can't just, you have to develop a few little techniques with it. So there, that's pretty tight. And we'll snip that off. So that's perfectly strong enough for what we want. The spines on the brambles give it extra grip as well, so it's not going anywhere. And this little bit here will snag that off. If you're going making shelters like this, I'd advise you cut off any protruding bits or any sharp bits of stick that may get you in the eye, alright? To cover the shelter, I'm going to try moss again. I made an experimental moss covered shelter to see how it would work. I didn't expect it to work, but lo and behold it did work. It kept rain off pretty well. So I'm going to try it here on a bigger scale and see how this works. So I'll just layer that on. We'll get back to you when we're finished, okay? So this is our moss covered shelter finished. We'll just show you the front of it. Just in case you think all I had to do was put my hand out and find moss, I had quite a search to find the moss for this. I had to search high and low. There's little bits of moss everywhere here, but only in very small quantities. I found this about 2 miles away from here, and I had to bring it back here. So there we have a nice little shelter, totally built from nature, totally biodegradable, everything is renewable, all built with this nice little parang. Now let's get a fire going. It's a little bit rotten, this wood. Texture isn't that great, but oops, it is. Let's have a crack with that. We'll use the feathers to start the main fire. Now we have a fire going, we need to get some survival food. There are many different types of food you can collect. There are fungi that you can pick. There are many types of leaves that we can eat and plants on the ground. There's an abundance of trees that we can strip the inner bark from to eat, and thus not only survive but thrive with nature. You can eat all of that, but it tastes like shit. I'm going to have me some apple pie. Right, I've let the fire burn down to coals, and I'm preheating my little Dutch oven. This is an antique, it's a fairly small one. Every good bug out bag should have a mixing bowl. Let's get our ingredients going. I have a half pound of sifted plain flour. We'll keep a little bit for dusting our surfaces. A little more. And a quarter pound of chopped margarine here. We need to move fairly quickly with this because it'll get soft. So we just mix those. You mix it until you get the texture of breadcrumbs. So we mixed our flour and margarine until we had the texture of fine breadcrumbs. We added a tiny drop of water. Now we'll dust our chopping board. Every good bug out bag should have a chopping board and a rolling pin as well, I decree. If I was the boss, I'd make so many laws, let me tell you that. Sensible laws. Vinnie's laws. I'd love to be the king, so I would. Right, let's see if we can get this into our baking tin as good as we can. What's happened now is the margarine has gone very soft. It would need to be refrigerated by rights, but we just have to do the best we can, eh? Oopsie daisy. Now. Now we'll add our apples. How's that for a one-tool option, eh? Nice brambly apple, you can't beat bramblies. Add sugar to taste. That should do. Now we'll lay on our top. We'll tuck in our crust and we'll trim off the excess. A few little cuts to release the steam. I forgot to bring a pliers, but we'll use this instead. You don't want to get any ash falling into it. Oops, daisy. Now we're in. So our apple pie is almost done. I'll just give you a look. Not too bad. Just needs to be browned a tiny bit more. We'll give it a few more minutes and then it's chow time. There you go, guys. One survival apple pie. Let's have a taste. That's really good. Delicious. And thanks to modern technology, we have whipped cream with it. Man, that's good. I'm going to have me some more of this. So my final thoughts on the parang, guys. What I think is that in this day and age, when for various reasons people may need to be discreet about carrying what are seen to be weapons, what to us are tools, but what some people see as weapons, something as small and handy and packable as this is ideal, I think. Team it up with a little folding saw and a folder like this and you can do a great deal of work. A very small load in your backpack or in a pocket even. You can head for the woods, head for the hills, and you can practice your bushcraft or woodsmanship or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't compare to a large heavy chopper like this kukri. But then again, I rarely carry this because it's heavy and awkward. I can tell you that if you have this on your belt for a couple of hours, you won't know it's there. I like knives, I like all knives. It is my opinion that big knives are not the most useful tool you can carry. However, this is a chopper, it's a dedicated chopper. It's a light chopper, but it's a chopper all the same. So I think more useful than many knives which really are fighting knives. This is a working knife, a chopping knife. If you're interested in buying this, not only are you getting a well-made, very functional, very nice tool, you're also helping out a new business, a newly started business. Turbo Conquering Mega Eagle, or Turbo as I call him, he's a decent bloke. Personally, I found posts that he made on Facebook trying to help my channel and trying to encourage people to subscribe to me. He didn't pat himself on the back, he didn't let me know about it. I found it by a roundabout way. I think he's a decent bloke, and what better can you say about anybody? Now he's selling these in his Etsy shop. I'm going to put a link to that shop. I'm going to pin it in the first comment, and I'll put a link in the description to Turbo's channel. So go check him out, it's an excellent channel. He gets up to a lot of interesting things. He's a clever bloke. So go check him out. And if you like the parang, go buy his parang. And thank you for watching Vinny's Day Off. Bye bye.